How's it going, guys? We're live again. Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. Here with my bro Marshall. Here with good bro Tim again. He's gonna show us some things today, some important things, a lot of important things, leashes, and medications and stuff like that when you're out hunting. You guys want to say what up?
You guys,
What's happening, y'all?
it's good to see y'all again. We're gonna go for like more of a deep dive into kind of gear and the gear we're looking at because we had a lot of gear questions after we had Tim on, like specifically because we went into a big amount of detail and then we touched base in the med stuff and gear, and people got a taste of it and they kind of wanted a lot more of it. So the one thing I will say though, guys, in this chat, if you disagree with something, say why you disagree with it, or like have a good question. We always answer good questions, but don't just make a dumb statement.
Yeah, give us positive feedback. You know what I mean? So hey, listen, it's a learning. Learning from everybody. Everybody's got different. Listen, one thing I have learned over traveling and hunting, not you have to have different equipment for every single hunt. Like if you go to Kansas, that's different terrain than New Mexico. As we know, is way different in Maryland, Delaware, Jersey. Like you guys are in rocky terrain, I believe. You guys have more of a rocky type of,
Yeah, granted.
So you got, I mean, yeah, that's gonna you're gonna really need some you're gonna be using some digging bars and some other shit to get in where you need to get into. Um, nothing is 100% fail proof. Like you can have that pack to the T, and it'll be that one thing that you need that you don't have on that hunt. Um, that's where it usually comes into the guys that you're hunting with, who has invited you out. Um, that's where you lean on them a little bit more. That they know the terrain, you know. Um, and unless you're going with somebody that's just getting into it, like if you're just getting in, you going, you don't really, you guys are just shooting from the hip. And then it's a little bit more complicated, I guess, But no hunt is ever the same. It's You can think you have all the equipment in the world, and next thing you know, you get into something. And the simplest thing in the world could save your dog, like a bottle jack, because two rocks. I mean, you just can't get, and you have to get something in there, and you have to get it wedged out. I know a lot of people don't carry no bottle
Describe
jack.
a bottle jack.
Huh?
Describe a bottle jack for people who don't know. I know what it means.
Just like a little car jack, you know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
put in and you just slide in something and just crank it up. And usually you get it just enough. We've done it, me and Curtis. I know a couple other guys that I've hunted with. I've seen them, they've done it. I know for sure. A couple guys in Kansas had to do it. They were a couple day dig, had to use it more than once to get into the dog. That was pretty crazy. Um, but like locators, everybody talks about locators. There's many different ways to locate a dog. Locators are nice, using a locator, a little Bellman and Flint or whatever. Um, so I don't know what I do with my magnet. So you kind of just like, once you turn these on, you got that, you charge them, they go green.
I have little mini magnets here for that reason, so I can just kind of touch them.
So exactly.
Yeah, take one flash. I got one.
So they just got a little magnet side indicator. It's not a switch or anything. These are all solid. They're encased, pop rivet closed, so they're waterproof and whatnot. I haven't really found a collar or a company that sells a collar that fits the actual locator perfectly without having to trim them down. So I kind of just stick with the actual Bellman and Flint collar itself. They seem to hold up. I've had them for years. But a lot of guys now with the Bellman and Flint usually come with a red box. I actually don't have my red box no more. I gave it away. I don't like it. The lights kind of failed. The only thing I do have is the charger to the Bellman and Flint. So I use a Peeps locator. So it's
that's an avalanche tracker, right?
Yes, avalanche recovery system.
Yeah, really helps.
And what's crazy is a gentleman was out here it's really crazy because he's really a smart dude, man. If you really get to listening to him, but anyway, he was like, hey, you can locate more than one collar with that, and I didn't. You know what I mean? But I also don't work more than one dog to ground. But it was nice to know. It was nice to know that this system can locate more than one collar if need be. It was pretty cool. So I tend to like this system more. That's what's being strange. Well, I'm sorry, you're strange. No, it's helpful too. So, it's helpful too. Okay. I take my baseball team. Okay. A bike bike. Okay, I'll be right there. Go. And some strange team been happy on Cowboys. Okay. So, I'm sorry, y'all. My
Rocco,
man,
it's all good, man.
Oh, it's all
he'll
good,
come
man.
up and talk dogs too. So
I know how
try
it
to
is.
get
I
him
got
away
kids.
from here.
It's all good. It's all
Nah,
good.
man.
All
One
good.
pro tip I think you taught me
So-
or someone else taught me was you can buy those Peeps trackers from like ski resorts when they get older. Like, because the ski
You're
resorts will
breaking up.
use those.
I'm sorry, bro. You were breaking up.
No, I was saying the ski resorts will actually use those to track people out. Like they have a little like thing they have on their arm when they get stuck in the avalanche.
Yeah,
they'll dig up.
and I think it was you that told me to go on there and to the after the season, right?
Yep.
So okay, so that was another thing I was going to touch on. A lot of people have asked me how to get peeps, locators, and collars and whatnot. So these are actually a little bit easier to grab than people think. These are actually harder
Yeah.
because there used to be a place named called Johnson's Telemetry. And Marcus, where were they located at? Marshall?
Johnson's Telemetry. I think that was a U.S. business, but I think now the only place you can buy Bellman and Flint is in the U.K.
In the
Yeah,
UK,
on the
correct.
website. On the
On their website.
the website, yeah.
Correct. And they're
And there's
usually
the-
always they're always talking about their own back order. So
Yeah.
Johnson's Telemetry used to have them, right? And just recently a friend of mine, just a shot in the dark, called there, and the older gentleman answered, and he had like 4 whole systems left, and he was willing to let him go at cost. And then when I called there, I couldn't get a hold of him. It was just my luck. So I was like, mother. But anyway, um, these can be these can be grabbed at what was that website, Marshall, that we looked up?
I
The
mean, you can
Pocono Ski Resort.
you can get the Peeps one if you just look hard enough on eBay. If you look hard enough on eBay, you
Yeah,
can get
exactly.
a Peeps
Yeah.
locator for maybe like $100 when 120,
Yeah.
which in the grand scheme of things is cheaper than most dog locators. I mean, but at the same time,
Yeah,
don't
they're always like 250 and up from what I see.
for Peeps.
What, just for the locator?
In general, just locators, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I actually like the Benz also, but I
Benz,
think
yeah.
they stopped making. I think they stopped making the long range finder. What do you say?
So we love the consistency. This is my friend Caleb.
Oh, nice. So,
Thanks, appreciate it.
they actually, I know I've worked behind some dogs that the guys were using those the Benz and the
Yeah,
long
one
range, and man, they were really sharp, man. I liked them.
You had one on Spade, didn't you?
No, I kept no. Um, I lost Pebbles. I'm sorry, I lost Pebbles, and I was using that Order Vox.
The old order box, the small
The
box I
old
gave
Order
you.
Box, yeah. I didn't wrap it in a con like so with the Order Boxes. I know some guys that still use them, but they tend to get moisture in them, and then the battery fails.
You have to
So
use an
if you
extra
slide,
tape.
yeah, you got to slide it inside of a condom, and then overwrap it, and then put it in whatever kind of collar you got. I had a pouch, and then I duct tape it up. Remember that?
Yeah, I used to tape them. I never actually used the condom, but that makes sense because you probably keep the water off them easier. But I just use
Keep the
electrical.
water, yeah.
Like,
But
it was like a collar, it's like a strap, unlike the Bellman and Flint ones. You had to wrap it around and tie it. Like if you go on the Terrier Man's website, he's a guy from Frederick, Maryland, and he actually has pictures of how he used to wrap his collars, and those are kind of helpful to reference back to.
Absolutely. My collars are kind of beat up, man. Like, they're actually really beat up. So this one here, huh?
So mine were pretty dirty and fucked up too. As soon as I took it out, I was like, "Crap, this is still dirty."
Yeah, I can't. Like, I've had to, like, every time I get done hunting, man, I gotta really make sure that charging piece right there is all like up in part, because it's been hard to get locators and
No,
collars. So.
yeah.
But this one here actually, the coon bit through the side of it right there and got a chip in it.
Yeah, I see
Luckily,
groundhogs.
I tried not to. I tend to try to keep this one off of them when this one still got hair on the collar. It's been crazy. I didn't hear, but I really don't use two collars too much. I always keep one in the pack just in case. And then I shut everything off. But like I always keep, so when I'm out hunting, I just don't keep a locating collar on them. I also keep a leather collar with my information on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do not keep my dog's names on those collars. I just put my name on there. You know what I mean? So my information, all that shit, you know, and where I'm from. But I don't put the dog's name on there because somebody gets a hold on and moves that collar, it's screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also
So,
like you don't
these are
hang
good. These are good collars.
It's good, yeah. The tags and plates on there because you have the plate on the collar and not like tags. Some people will get the tags on there. You don't want tags; they're gonna fall off.
Right. These actually come from
tags.
Hunt dog, I believe it is, or dog hunter or some shit. It's and I think it's they come out to $5.99 a collar with the tag. It was like a blazing deal. So me and Robbie jumped on it. Like we got I think we ordered like 10 a piece. They're always good to have, you know what I mean? Cause they, and what I like about them is they come with the circle in the middle. See when you gotta. So I always keep these special tie-offs that I build with me. And then I'll just hit a tree. Like say if Marshall and I, hold on one second. Hey guys, go back to your room. I'm on the podcast. Don't do that. Okay. So I build these special collars with these release clips, these heavy duty spring clips.
They're strong.
And then so you can always with these collars, it's kind of a little bit better than just you always have that one little connection piece right there for your leash.
Yeah.
But with these, they're kind of more durable and you can get around a tree and then you can hook them for fast release in case, like, if you're digging with your boy and you're in a situation where the dog's taking a little bit of damage and you like your dog's just like down in there, been a while, and you want to get a fresh dog down in there, you just click the release, just pop it quick. You ain't got to do all that sliding, you just pop them. And they're pretty heavy duty. These are 1,250 pound. These are 1,250 pound test leashes.
Mine never snapped. The one I had never snapped. I literally would evaluate. Being a dog trainer, I'd evaluate dogs, and Tim sent me one of those. I could put mastiffs on that and trust that they weren't going to bite the crap out of me. They never snap it.
I found that the smaller snaps are a lot better than the bigger snaps. So I brought one to show y'all. So the bigger snaps look like they're more heavy duty.
Oh, I never got that one. That's nice.
So the big ones look like they're heavy duty, right? But they have a problem with spring back. They don't see how they close.
Yeah. Oh shit.
You gotta kind of like close it.
Got to make sure it's closed.
That's just it's done.
The smaller they're done, they're already closed, and they're a heavier duty spring system in these smaller ones, right? That you don't have in the big one. See, the big ones you gotta make sure you're closed. All these supplies, like I don't use. I've seen guys use the I'm sorry, the cable nuts. They got the bolts on them, and they put these together. I don't use those. Neither does the guys that that I hunt with. We don't use them. We use they're I forget what they're called, plugs or some shit.
Yeah.
And you slide them through, and then you kind of got to close them in the middle. They're aluminum, and then you put a stopper on the back, and like these are forever leashes. I do everything with them. So that's a good tie out. They can take a lot of punishment too, a lot of weather. Where like if you tie out one of your dogs and you have a wild dog that's like really trying to get up off that leash, I've seen them chew right through nylon leashes. Before you know it, you had them on there, and next thing you know, they're coming by you.
Yep.
You're like, why the hell did they get off of there? And you look
Yeah,
back here, you ain't got no leash. They're chewed through it. It's gone. So it's like, wow, okay, that's
People
now I'm
underestimate
done.
things.
Yeah, they'll chew. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They'll chew through something in a minute.
Yeah.
So you know, then like I didn't bring my whole pack in here tonight because I got so much gear. But um I the East Wing axes. Do you remember those axes I used? The big long East Wings?
Yeah.
They're pretty nice. They'll cut through it. But I do have my shovel. Did I send do you have those pictures
Oh,
of
yeah.
those shovels I
Yeah.
sent you?
Can we post a picture of the shovel in the background?
Oh yeah, I could
Yep, we got that plan.
I could put
Also,
up.
we'll answer that question. We got like one question. The Oldwood asked, "Is that telemetry the same type the falconries use?" So I think he's trying to figure out if the earth locator is the same as telemetry. No, it's not. But my person,
No, it's on a different thing. Go
the
ahead,
person
Marshall. I'm sorry.
her name is Teddy Moritz. She told me supposedly there are some telemetry systems that can locate underground. She's done with dachshunds before, but I've never seen it personally.
Correct. So they use a free oh man. I want to man what hold on, let me see here. Cuz they tell you your frequency that you're on. Um because you know this will pick up the so the Bellman and Flint it won't pick up a Peeps or a I'm sorry. Let me back up.
So yeah,
A
I got you.
So a Bellman and Flint box
Yeah,
will not pick up
Devin.
a denim box.
Yeah,
But what we found out, this will.
that'll
It
pick up
doesn't.
Devin collar.
This,
I
and
didn't
it
know that.
shocked it. I didn't know it neither. And what happened was this was on in my pocket, and it started pinging, and I was like,
That's
My collar's off. You know, and my dog was on the tree, so I was like, what the hell? So we started looking, and we ended up finding out that this does pick it up. Now, for some reason, it will give you a ping, but it will not give you a direction like on this. Because you know how it gives you the arrow direction on here? On this system, you
yeah.
have a arrow system too that shows which like kind of like which way to go. And then it give you well, this is read in meters. This isn't read in feet.
Okay, yeah, actually, do you want to switch? One sec. You trying to get the picture on? There he is.
Can you see that?
No, I can't. I can see your email.
Yeah, so it's not showing
It's okay. We can just go back to where Tim was showing the
yeah, I'll figure it out in a sec.
the peeps. Yeah, so turn the peeps on for a sec so you can see that because it'll show like the body, right? It'll show the little body in the pile.
So you you always go to search first,
Yeah.
and then it indicate you're searching, and then you go up or locate. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Send your signal so it connects. Make sure everything's like you know what I mean.
Yep, there's a
And
little
then
arrow at the top.
yeah, and then hit your search, and then hit your search, and they come up. These I don't have this collar turned on. Hold on one second. Damn, I think my actual. There we go. So, hey, Axel, are you dressed? Guess not. Guess I'm at the round side and get my damn magnet. Hold on, give me
Yeah.
1 second.
Fix that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely good information to know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was actually on the Bell and Flint website the other day. It was like, yeah, it took a minute for it to load up. It was, I mean, that's the only place you could get them though, so you got to use it.
Yeah, but like I didn't realize that they could locate the Devon collars. The Devon collars are completely waterproof and they're pretty nice. I've only seen them like, well, I've seen that and I've seen the Ferret Finder, and the Ferret Finder is kind of the same collar. The MK3 Ferret Finder is a really small little collar.
You can't find it.
The MK3s you can find, but the issue is that like you can find them on like certain Facebook marketplaces, but people are also will scam you on the MK3 Ferret Finders. There's little like fake.
Yeah, you gotta watch them guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
They will take your money on Facebook in a heartbeat.
So look, these are Fiskars. 1K solid shovel. It's all one piece.
Yeah.
There's no shaft that screws in. It's none of that shit. Okay. So they don't come this short. I cut them down. So I cut them down to about, I don't know, I'm 5'5", so about 3 foot. And so what I do is I sharpen them with a grinder before every hunt.
Okay.
So in case you got to use it as an axe.
I'm saying make them nice and sharp, crack something.
Well, in case you got cut into a tree, a hollow tree, or cut through roots.
Yeah,
But those shovels will cut through almost anything. So everybody goes and gets all these. So on the side of this, you have one side that says their name. You got another side that's a power button. It's a magnet that comes with them. Clip it onto your backpack or whatever. You slide it. You get a green indicator. Hear your beep. Your 0.2. So you have the closer you are, you hear it.
And that's not feet, guys. Those numbers,
Now,
not
these are
feet.
meters. These are
That's
meters. Yeah. So you don't want to go reading this and thinking that you're 3 feet, and you're not. If you're at 1 meter, you're not at 1 foot. You're at 3.3 feet. So for every meter you go up, you gotta remember. You know what I mean? So if you're at 2 meters, you're at 6'6". You know, and you have to add all that up on the fly. You know, you don't want to go
being
go
dyslexic
crushing your dog. Yeah, you don't want to go crushing your dog. So you send. Oh, I think my button's starting to mess up. So, you send your signal, it'll connect, and it'll say okay, and then you slide it up. I'm about to get this one fixed, and then it'll come up and it'll start picking it up.
How far of a distance would it pick it up? Like downwards?
Yeah, that was my next question.
I think there's I want to say 70 feet.
That's more than you probably
Maybe
need.
a little bit. Oh yeah, if you're digging 70 feet,
If
buddy,
you're
let me tell
70
you something.
feet,
You're a bad.
you're in over your head.
Yeah, you're a bad
That's
cat. You do 70 feet.
well.
Yeah, you better get yourself a tractor. And then so these have a couple day lifespan. Like if they're fully charged and the dog's on the ground, and you really having a hard time getting to it, you ain't gotta panic and be like, oh my god, my collar's gonna die within 24 hours. Nah, you got 3 different color modes on these. You know what I mean? Now, when you get the red and she starts flashing red and then she hits that double red, yeah, you're pretty much shit out of luck on next front trying to find them. But as long as you're within that yellow or that one red, like, you don't want to ever get them to red. You want to try to get to them before they hit yellow.
Yeah.
But at least you have a couple days with this. You know what I mean? If it's an emergency situation, if your dog kind of ranges out and you free cast like I do, there's been times where like they've dipped down a side in a set on the side of a hill, and I've had to walk around a little bit and kind of search until it started pinging. That's why I say it's about 70 feet. because I know it started pinging it like, and I was like, me and Robbie were like, wow, it's probably about 70 feet. And we walked up and then we hit the hole, and then we started digging and then going down. So that's why I say about 70 feet. I'm not sure what the real, statistics are on the distance of it. But I wouldn't go pushing it more than that.
Yeah.
So I do like them because they're waterproof. That depends. I don't know if it's waterproof. I don't own one, so I don't
I'm
know
pretty sure
how
it's
durable they are in the water.
What'd you say, Marshall?
But
I'm pretty sure they're waterproof. I think one of the guys me and you went hunting with one time. I think in Maryland. I think Royal, either Royal or Manual had one. Where they
Royal uses them. Yeah,
Royal uses
Royal and the Manual use them. Yeah, they do use them. Yep. Nothing. So that's the locating system I use. But hunting with the guys I hunt with, these are not your first. These are not your first go-tos.
What's your first
You don't just
go-to?
whip out. You got to evaluate the situation. You might be whipping out a locator and don't even need it. The dog's on might be 3 feet. You can trench to that. There's been times me and Marshall have had these on there and still trenched how far because you can't get. You can't get to where the dog is really at to get a pinpoint on it because you're trying to cut through briars, roots, everything else to get to a whole bunch of crap. You know what I mean? Or so this isn't really the first go-to. Like a lot of guys preach that overseas that they do it all old school, put your ear to the ground or whatever they do. You know what I mean?
cut a sapling.
Yeah, cut a sapling and go up, and that is exactly. And another thing to do, I personally keep a fish tape for fishing electric lines through walls and shit. And I bent out the end of it that's usually like kind of looped. I bent it out to be a hook. I know some guys that keep like a stretcher, maybe like 5 to 10 foot of barbed wire with them. And what they'll do is they'll straighten it out and then they'll fish it up in there and see which way it's going. If they poke something, they'll kind of like twirl it just a little bit just to get it to grab, and they'll yank to see what kind of fur is coming out. Um, you could really tell if you're hitting your dog or not. You see which way it's going, and you actually get a measurement on how far you got to trench, or if you can get up there and cut down to them. Most of the time, it's easier to trench to them. It's easier just to trench into them. There's been a couple times me and Marshall have trenched in on the side of the hill because it was just too. It just wasn't smart enough to like go in on that act, like trying to go down. You were just going. You're
When you
actually
get those
too
little
much of a
BMX
distance.
jumps, like those crazy motocross jumps that we were digging into, those
Yeah.
little hills are stacked so high up that like you would be going 10 feet down immediately to dig them. That'd be crazy.
Exactly. So it's just easier just to go straight into the face of it, like just cut a hole straight in and just walk straight in the door. You know what I mean? But then some of those holes were going off to the right, and they were going another 6 feet, and then going in again. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
You'd have like Dyson that would just like pop into a hillside randomly, and like you didn't know which hillside. It could be 2 hillsides over. It was like a little maze of just like dirt bike jumps that animals have
It
been.
had sets everywhere.
Yeah,
Just lived in them.
Yeah, that's all that. Yeah, it was. Well, that's like in Oklahoma the other night. Um, the friend of mine, we had 2 of his dogs out, one that I bred, and then he had actually had 3 of his dogs out, and I had Ginger, but one of his dogs had located up in the side of a hill, but the tree had came out and the set went down underneath the root ball, so we had to kind of cut in there, and then come to find out, we think we bolted 5. We didn't really see what we bolted. It came out from above us, and his dog was in there, and I guess I don't know what happened, but it didn't make contact and it bolted. So we didn't really get and identify what it was. But when we kind of like pulled out the debris and all the bedding and shit, there was some red fur in there. So I'm speculating that's what it bolted. But I'm gonna say that because I've noticed that some dogs, when they encounter a fox, if they've never encountered that before, tend to get confused on is that something I should engage or not? Because it looks like a canine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just, that's, guy ask guys when that happens. I say, yo, that dog ever encountered a fox before? Nah, that's the first time I've seen it. So that's the only thing I'm speculating that too. Could be just the dog was scared. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the
Again, just
dog.
your experience.
Yeah, from my experience, that's what I've noticed. You know what I mean? The dogs are kind of get confused. Like, wow, am I supposed to be? It looks like a dog. I usually get in trouble. Like, that's what the dogs like concept. But once they get
So
to knowing and once they know that's Corey, it's a good game on.
That's a good question.
Okay.
so when your dog gets in a hole, do you think like the name of the game is basically like get to him immediately, or you want to just take your time and just see what the dog wants to do?
I mean, so once the dog makes contact, and the dog, that's your job to get there.
Yep.
You
Get
know, what I
right
mean,
there.
as a handler, you're trying to get there as much as possible. And I mean, look, different strokes for different folks. I've been around all sorts of guys. I've been a guy that, when I'm testing a dog to see if it's worth me keeping or that's a dog that I like. I depends on what I feel. What I feel is going to need to test that dog. You know, sometimes you have no other choice but to leave the dog in there for a minute or two longer than you want to because you're having a hard time getting to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, sometimes it just happens.
yeah, it just happens. It's not like a plan. Like, oh, okay, I know it's gonna go here. I'm gonna get to it within minutes. Nah. Like you might think, oh, this is gonna be an easy dig, and next thing I know, it turns in. You look it back, and you're like, whoa, I've been digging for an hour and a half. Like, and I'm still nowhere near this dog, or they moved. They moved. Great. Now I gotta find them and dig here now. It's like, fuck. There's sometimes, man, I've even looked at Marshall and said, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna do this shit no more. But it's like you be
Yeah,
burned
here we
out, man.
are. Here the fuck
Your
we are.
shoulders are burning. You're like dripping sweat in the freezing cold. You're like, I don't even know how I'm sweating. It's like, oh my god. But that shit, when the dogs do their job, that's when you have to kick in and do your job.
Yeah,
You
we're a
know?
team. We're a team.
Yeah.
Do you do?
Um,
We got a question from Craig Green. Do you need a pair of Patterdales if you're hunting?
a pair of Patterdales.
Yeah, that's the question he's asking.
These things. Do you need to cut out a pair of them, or can you just bank on one doing the job?
Well, okay. So doing the job, it only takes one dog.
Yeah.
But now doing the job is that question that's kind of like a catch-22 because some people saying doing the job they're expecting that dog to kill they're expecting that dog to do everything like locate, enter, engage, and
Kill.
kill the quarry.
Yeah.
That's not their job to kill it, really. Now if you do have a dog that's a kill dog, that's wonderful. That's great. You know what I mean? But realistically, you're gonna get down there and that dog's gonna be holding the quarry. You know what I mean? It's gonna be holding it for you.
Yeah.
Um, not saying it's not holding it in the right spot and it's trying to kill it, but if you've had a dog underground, one, for any length of time, it's cold underneath the ground, depending on when you're hunting. A lot of guys are hunting groundhogs during summertime. It does get cold underground. And um guys put these dogs in these keeps, and I've done it. I did it to Spade a few times. I did it to Booger. I get them in such good shape and don't realize they don't have enough body fat to get down to the ground and keep their body temperature at a rate, at a set temperature so they don't start going into fucking shock or
See, that's good to
hypothermia.
know. That's key. That's good to
You
know.
know, you
Because my
know.
dog fit as shit. I don't know if she got any fat on her.
Yeah. So you have to, these aren't game dogs.
Yeah.
Ain't hitting the box. You know, that's not what this is. Um, yeah, coming out of Bulldogs, other guys coming out of Bulldogs, you talk to them. Oh man, I want this, I want that. That's cool. We all do want that. That's the name of the game. You want to be. That's when guys say, "Oh, he's got the best dogs," but do you really? You don't even really test them. They take so much beating that they got more time in the recovery than they do out in the field, or you're putting them back together, and then the next time they take damage, they just they come apart like instantly, you know. So you gotta really like pick and choose what your test is, you know. If you're gonna test them like what, once or twice, is that really a test? And they take so much damage that when you do put them back together, they fall apart every other time they back out in the field and do find something because it just got so much scar tissue,
Yeah.
you know. Um, like Ginger, we gotta watch her nose. You know, it's been peeled off and put back on, and peeled off and put back on. So now it's she watches her nose like, god damn, you know, like that hurts. Oh yeah, it's a nose, motherfucker. You ever got punched in the nose? Like shit hurts, motherfucker. I mean,
I
you
mean, if
know,
you get bit.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You taking 3-inch fucking canine to the top of your muzzle, like that shit hurts. You know, it's got to. So, um, this is a hunt. This is a sport. Like they're not meant to get out there and kill everything. You know what I mean? They're there to find it, hold it until you get to it, and then dispatch it. Take care of it. Dispatch it humanely. You know what I mean? Um, some guys ask me, "Do I sell the fur? This and that?" No, when I harvest everything, I kind of harvest for personal use. You know what I mean? Like extra training, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Um, if I do harvest something, it's because it's something I never got before, like that badger I just showed y'all. You know, that was just something I knew, like, okay, like, damn, that's pretty big. Like, let me get this thing, you know, have my boy scan it out and then send it to the tanner. And then when I got it back, I just wrote down all the information I needed so I had that memory. Um, I've had 100 foxtails sitting around mom's, you know, because skinning them out, by the time they're done, they're like mangled. So it's like, what do you do with them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Got a question, Valley Lee. When would you classify a terrier as started and a terrier as finished? So I mean, I'm guess he's asking when would you start him hunting, and at what age would you finish, or why would you finish,
He's
or
asking when would you classify a terrier started? So like what means them like be started on quarry, and when do you think they'll be finished? And I guess to each his own if there's such a thing as finished, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see no like. Okay, I mean, I worked Spade up to the day he died. Spade was.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure exactly how old he was, but I know he was old, um, and older. Oh, he was one of the oldest dogs. But I don't think there's really any time that you retire. I think retirement is when they can't do it no more. I think that's retirement, or they ain't got no teeth. I've
so you
seen
would
dogs.
never say you had a good bitch and she
Now
had it.
that okay, that is a personal thing. I know guys out there that won't brood a bitch out until like 3, 4, 5 seasons. You know what I mean? They gotta see some real, but they're still hunting them dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying they're hunting. So what if you had a bitch you gotta say you was hunting her for like 5-6 years or whatever. She's been doing her thing, but she's good and you want to get some offspring on her. You never would think of like just retiring her and using her to get some
Now, if
pups.
you're going, oh, absolutely. That's why Ginger's out there now. That's
So
why. That's why
you
I
never
just
retired her though. You still hunt her.
I still hunt her, yeah. And it's because it's just I don't like seeing them sit. I think if you're gonna have them, they're working dogs. I think you need to work them.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, um, but I also work myself out of dogs like that too. You know, not replenishing my stock and hunting so much. So, um, luckily I have an extra female here now, and I also have Ginger. You know, and I have a litter. I had a litter off of both her and her sister. So, um, I was on my way across to the East Coast, and Scarlett had those pups inside the kennel on the
Mhm.
highway. So I had four. I had one female, three males, and the female she ended up there must have been something wrong with her. She killed her in the box. Like she pushed her to the front. She was dead when I got to where every time I checked on him, that was the only one pushing the size, so there had to be something wrong with her. So I had 3 males. One went to Jared Price. He named him X. Another one went to a friend of his named Jeff. He didn't really make grade. And then there's another one in Jersey I called Toad. He named him, I think, what's that guy? Rip or some shit from that show. Yellowstone, whatever that cowboy name is. And he hunts with him. I think Marshall hunted with him. And I've never personally hunted with him, so I can't speak on how he hunts.
Okay.
So but then
go ahead.
But then the ones I had at Ginger, to my booger dog that comes out of the Inky Rasta line out of Kansas, those pups are really doing really well too. I just hunted with one of them Friday night, and he's real intense, always on the go, hunts a lot like his dad, Spade, or Booger, I'm sorry, but he hunts like his mom too. So, that was really nice to see. They hunt like really hard. They're really intense dogs. You know, that was kind of nice to see. What else? I ain't got very many litters. I don't personally have very many litters out there.
No. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you hunt all yours, so that makes sense. We got good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Jamie Park. Chris, yes, sir. Chris, that's an excellent reason to carry a little extra weight. We are worried about making weight. Laugh out loud. What's he say here? Good evening, gentlemen. Tim, I have never thought about having a little extra weight for warmth. I'm not worried about making weight, so I want to give them every chance I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And being down there where Mr. Parks at, see, Mr. Parks in a part of the country that he can afford to have them a little thinner because due to the fact he deals with a lot of humidity. Okay. So having one with a little bit more body fat may be detrimental, depending on where and what season he's hunting. Because with the humidity down there, with that extra body weight, you're gonna, and then shoot, I know Mr. Park really deals with some bullshit in the ground down there because he's got snakes, he's got fuck. Your dog get down in there, man. You wonder what he's on. Well, it's not what he's on. It's on what's on him. You can get down there, your dog's all wrapped up. You know what I mean, with a python. So, and it's crazy. Mr. Park just came on here. I just was actually up to a yard where I grabbed and I was actually offered a sister to the dog he asked me about the last time I was on here, and she's still available to me if I wanted her, and she's got some really good vets, and I worked behind her brother a few times, and he was a monster, man. Like I can give it to him. Like he was impressive. He was real impressive. It was crazy because he worked a lot of coyotes. You know.
Hold on. How much did he weigh?
RJ was I want to say he was 18 pounds. He was a little bit bigger. He was 18, maybe a little bit bigger. I don't think much bigger than 20 pounds, maybe max. But you need a little bit bigger dog out here. He was a Vetzel cross, but he was nice. He was real nice. He was definitely about his business, and he actually just was recently lost. He went to ground. And they dug him and he was done. Had sand ingestion. Out here, you gotta get to him quick. They get the sand ingestion inside their lung. It's kind of like that black lung, like coal miners get. And it with the moisture in the sand, I just from my research that it kind of like drowns them, but it's not like a water drown. It's kind of like their lungs get full, so it can't do anything. It's just like a bag full of sand in there. So they kind of asphyxiate on the sand. And there's really no way to get it out. there's really no way to get it out. Like we've searched everything. I mean, there is, but we don't have the we don't
Yeah,
have the
the
resources to do it.
machine to do it. Yeah. That
So
badger, was it a badger fur that you showed us earlier?
yeah,
And you said that was what, 32 pounds?
y'all, he was a 32-pounder.
How big was the dog that killed that? How much did the dog weigh?
Spade was 19 pounds at that time.
Okay.
Mhm.
That was
He was
Spade.
Spade was a bigger dog, bigger bodied dog. Like he was short, but he was thick. He had big bone.
Okay.
I could get him down. There was times I get him down. I get him down probably lower than I should have, but he'd be really ripped up. But I also caused my problems. I caused him to go into hypothermia. Like one day I was hunting him, he started nesting. He just didn't have enough body fat. He was freezing to death, and it gotten wet. Like people don't understand, man. Wet dog, man, starts getting cold. They get cold fast. Start going to shock fast too. It seems like.
So he went into shock? Oh, Tim, could you message me later? I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yep, I sure will. I sure will. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where'd
so
Marshall
he
go?
went
Where'd
into
Marshall
shock.
go on us? Marshall done bounced out on us.
Who, Marshall? He
Yeah.
he must have probably go handle something with one of his dogs
Mm.
or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some coyotes in his backyard.
That's crazy. I know last time we kind of like touched on some meds and stuff.
Oh
We
yeah,
kept
definitely. Let's get into the I know you had a whole bunch of stuff, and a lot of that stuff you got. I got, just different. We'll call it, I guess, different making models.
yes, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's yeah. Different stores carry different names. So
yeah,
this
yeah.
that's
And
it.
if you go to like something like Amazon, you can find 100 different types. But I mean, for the
It's
most
all the
part,
same.
yeah, they all do the same way. You got to
Just
find.
read the ingredients. That's all you gotta do is read the ingredients.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you wanna get into that, I know you had a whole
So
bunch of stuff out as far as the medical stuff and what you need, some of the stuff you might need after hunting, depending
right.
on what happened, you know what I'm saying? What type of
So like depending on what we have with eye damage, um, like coons tend to like to scratch the eyes up a lot. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then out in the dairies you tend to see that they get a lot of those bales that I'm hunting in are peanut straw. So it carries like a lot of dust. And then their eyes kind of get scratched up. You can see it inside their corner of their eyes when they've been like down in there a lot. So I try to get it flushed out as quick as possible with an eye flush. And then I hit them with a terramycin. Now, this has become hard to get because you have to go to the vet every time to get a new prescription of it.
Yeah, you used to be able to get it just like off
Over the
Amazon.
counter. Just over the counter. You
Because
get
they use it for reptiles' eyes and all that.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So now it's on the FDA, whatever the fuck list it is, but they want to ban everything, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to get. But if you don't I know, some people just don't have the resources or the money to go to a vet every single time they go hunt, okay? So there's alternatives like we talked about. So with that, I use a microcell AH.
Mhm.
It's a eye solution. It helps
Is that
coat.
is that like the eye? Is that the liquid or the gel?
This is a gel. It helps.
Okay.
So what I found out about the straight liquid, excuse me, it does flush the eye, right? And it does help. But what I found out with the gel, it helps take whatever debris, sand, dirt, straw, whatever's in there, okay? And it helps like kind of pull it to the surface. And it kind of like goes into where the eye duct into the middle. It kind of floats itself
Exactly. Yep.
there.
It's a gel,
And
so it works longer.
I think so. And it helps coat the eye in the
Yeah.
scratch or whatever, whatever damage is done to the eye. So I do like the gel better than the straight liquid itself.
I would recommend getting both, but
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, it's always nice to have both.
yeah, because I
Uh,
mean, like I knew when I went out with my cousin, he used the liquid, and then he'll follow it with the gel.
Got you. And
You know what I mean?
that there's nothing wrong. That's just extra
Like you
precaution,
said, that
man.
once the liquid flushes out, it's pretty much gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
flush it out a little with the liquid, and then let the gel do its
Mhm.
thing.
Yep. So, I think we all use this like red coat. So antiseptic wound care. I
Mhm.
got it. I got it in a spray. The blue coat. It's a spray. It's all the same. Um. So I personally use something called Oxy Wash. It's a wound wash that's made by a cattle company here locally. Um.
Okay, so
It's
that's
hit or miss. It's kind of hit or miss with them. If it's made, and when it is made, you better grab as much as you can of it. But with
and that's
that,
just local. You could just that. I mean, obviously, but I have a couple of different wound washes, and there's
right?
different companies again. But
And,
that
but
particular
this,
company is only local. The one you just
yes,
had.
yes, that's a local vet company that made that. Um, but this one here, you can buy at any Tractor Supply, or um, I don't know. You got all these big R's and Tractor Supplies and all this other shit out here
Yeah.
these days. Anywhere you can buy stuff for farm animals, you can buy stuff like this for horses. I'm sorry, like livestock. Let me say livestock, but you can get this. It's a good product. I like this too. It's not bad at all. Um, we were talking about like chiggers and ringworm and other fungi that like being down in the ground. People don't realize that groundhogs live in their own feces. Crawl through their own shit and all this other stuff. And so do coons and all these other ground, quarry that goes in the ground. And our dogs, sometimes guys, I know guys that don't really necessarily tend to wash their dogs after every hunt. I'm guilty of it. I don't wash them after every hunt. I do take care of their eyes, make sure their ears are all clear, no, like depending on their teeth and all that stuff. But I don't go out there and give them a full bath in 25-degree weather. Just doesn't happen. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it does. So, I use what's called a topical fungicide. It's controls fungal problems, like if they've been wet or they're like paws and stuff, or like I spray between their toes. I do their back of their ears. For females, I know guys. I know, but you got to clean them up. So tend to get up between the back legs of a female, between the crotch area of the male. You got to do all around that area. Um, this just keeps from getting ringworm, chiggers, um, whatever else this bottle tells you it was, rain rot from like their paws just being wet, um, summer edge foot rot. I don't really use it for that, but um, like ringworm and chiggers and stuff like that, and other funguses. Like I actually got a fungal yeast infection from digging and hitting a root when I was down in Virginia. Almost lost my arm, and first time I ever took my gloves off. I took my gloves off, whacked my finger, and I super glued it shut after I cleaned it, and the sap caused an infection. And what was crazy is I came all the way back across country, and then they put me in the hospital because of it, right? So a few months later, a friend of I believe Marshall knows him. A friend of mine, Brian Palmer, he had
Yeah.
messaged me, and he was like, Tim, um, I'm having some issues with this female, right? And she's growing these lesions, but they're like blood blisters. And I was like, what, you been hunting thorn patches? And he was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, I bet she got embedded in some like fresh, like you cutting, she's done got some thorns embedded in her skin deep, you know what I mean? Deeper than you thought. And she's gotten some sap. And what that's called is a fungal yeast infection. And anybody can get this, okay? Anybody. Landscapers get it, like high-end landscapers that deal with like fresh landscaping a lot, moving trees and rose bushes. And that's how I got hurt on something. It wasn't necessarily a rose bush, but it was a type of thorn-bearing rose, like flower
Yeah.
bush that hurt me. And
Mhm.
I didn't I encased it in my finger when I super glued it that day. And I just went back to hunting, thinking I cleaned it all, and now I caused myself a problem. So, if you do get hurt out there, you want to take care of yourself quick. You know what I mean? It's not, we're digging down in the dirt where there's a lot of different bacterias. Um, you're going through sometimes you're coming across with fucking quarry feces, you know what I mean? Whatever, Um, blood, spit, whatever else is on that dog. So you gotta we have to be careful too as handlers. You gotta keep the right gear, gloves, and whatnot. I keep a couple different pair of gloves, but also don't just go reaching down in there and just feeling around either. I've been bit. I know other guys been bit. And that's not that hurts.
Wearing gloves is really important.
Damn right, you better wear some damn gloves. I don't even care if you get bit by a wild rat. Boy, that shit hurts.
They could have shit. Rats could have the most
Yeah,
fucking disease.
yeah, man. I didn't realize how much shit they carry.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Like some of the, you think about some of the shit like dysentery,
Lepto's a big thing.
lepto, and what's
Rats
that other
get
one?
everywhere because they're small enough and slick enough to get everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know what I mean?
A lot of pet dogs get lepto more so than the ratting dogs because those pet dogs get exposed to it just from like walking where a rat walked.
Really?
Because the rats just like pee and walk as they go, so they can just get it from urine.
Oh, gotcha. Now, see, when I use something else called Erie Hide. I couldn't find it, man.
That
I've
stuff's
been
good.
looking. I've been looking everywhere for it. Did I give you some of that?
I've used it before, and I bought some a while back on the website. My
Yep.
understanding is that like it was originally used for like gunshot wounds, and then
It
went
was
from like gunshot wounds to like actual like faceful wounds from dogs on foxes in the UK.
so the stuff was originally, from my understanding, it's the original recipe from like Vikings and like explorers. Like it came from came is actually Joey Suit was a distributor of it, and it's um it's all natural, man. It's like plant based and all that stuff. Like it's a really good product. I don't know all the ingredients in it, but I got 2 cans of it around here somewhere, and I can't find it. It's driving me nuts. But um I do use that for aftercare on wounds, like scars, stuff that's like once it gets to a scab or that to that stage of the wound, I start using Erie Hide. But and it really does do a good trick. But
It's
I
good for
do
scars.
I use this stuff, this wound care cream. It's medicated and it's got an insect barrier in it. So if your dogs live in kennels or outside, like your sick bays outside or whatever, you have a sick kennel, like, and you put this on there, the insects like flies and all that shit that want to get on the wounds and lay eggs and all that other shit, don't get on them. And then I have another one. It's called War Paint. It's for horses, but it works good on the dogs. Like if you rub it on their ears, like on the outside, on the back, where they can't get to it to lick it or anything. Um, and this works pretty good to keep flies and stuff away from any kind. Even if they're not wounded, you got biting flies during the summer that they like to bite on the ears, and you get that.
Yeah.
This stuff is really good to keep that from happening.
Yeah, and you don't put
Really
that.
good.
That's the stuff you was saying earlier. You don't put that directly on the wound. You would put it around it or near it or to keep.
Yeah. Don't put this directly on a wound at all. No, this will burn them. And your dog will definitely scream. I don't care how tough it is. From experience, please don't do that.
I've seen people also use like the livestock like tags, like the ones for like
Their ears.
the biting flies and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do have those livestock tags that have that. But so I found the best thing is Promethean 10.
Yeah.
Just straight in like a small livestock tank. I think I add so I fill up three of these, three of those little loading jars, and I dump them inside of a 10-gallon little like metal livestock tank thing for like a planter or whatever it is, a feeder. It's a trough. Holds about 5 to 10 gallons of water, and I mix it up, and it's kind of white. And I take the dogs and I put them in there, and I take a picture and I milk them down, bro. And then I take them and I put them in the dry off yard, and they drip dry. And for the rest of the summer, and probably more than the winter, and into the next summer, I don't have a flea or a tick. And if I do, when I do find it, it's not alive. It just kind of like pops right off.
That's good because I'll see people sometimes they'll be dealing with consistent flea and tick issues, and I'll just be like, why? And I was after a certain point, like I understand it can get real bad, but like there's ways to get on top of that shit now.
This stuff right here is the same stuff that all these people say, oh, we offer dog dip for $55.99 and all this other shit. Yeah, I'll offer it too for $12.99 at Tractor Supply in my backyard for free and a hose.
Yeah, remember me and you said before this chat started that the old school way of doing that shit was motor oil.
And kerosene.
Kerosene too, but yeah, but like I said, don't let your dog lick itself.
Nah. So another thing I keep on me in the pack, and I don't go like stapling them shut in the field, but these are always good to have in a medical pack. Always good. You know
Staple
what I
gun.
mean? Staple gun, yeah. And they're sterile. They come like sealed, so they're not. You know, when you open them, you know they're sterile. You know, you don't have to worry about stapling the dog shut and stapling some bacteria. You know, you get them like clean. Another thing that I keep in my pack at all times, don't matter. I keep hand warmers in them packs because, Marshall, you know, I keep those dog vests in there too.
Yeah,
Got those pockets. I had those pockets sewn on the side, and then I
that works.
actually I started working. I started using Carhartt dog hunting vests because they got pockets in them. But in case they get wet down inside, like or they're cold and they're in shock, you put one of them on there and bust one of these and slide it down in there, or somehow or another medical take this up in their crotch, and this right here will help warm them up quick, the blood flow. Um, don't try to get it up to where they can like eat the shit. I had one stupid motherfucker eat the whole thing. Needless to say, it didn't last long. But
So, except for the staples, like what kind of cut should you staple? Because I feel like some people will see like a staple kit and see random cut and be like, "Oh, let me staple that." But there are some cuts that really can just like
yeah,
peel
you
out.
just let them. You just keep them washed up. You know what I mean? You gotta remember something. Dogs and like canines aren't stupid. You know what I mean? They're gonna help take care of themselves. You know, they're gonna help take care of themselves. When I staple something back together, it's something that's really torn apart
Yeah,
that I think I can get to. Now, you also have to evaluate how long has the dog been torn? Like, you know, how long has it been damaged like that? Is the tissue already started to die? Are you going to cause yourself more of a problem? And then another thing, when you staple things shut, you do not staple them all the way shut.
yes,
You got to give yourself a drain, an opening, a
very
drain. You know what I mean?
important.
So I really don't just go stapling anything shut. Like it's got to be some really, really drastic shit. And then I got drain tube, cat gut, that I kind of like make a drain tube, and I'll staple it. Like I'll get it up in there, and I'll staple that in there, and you know, not necessarily it, but I'll staple the wound closed where it holds that in there to give it a drain. But that's something like if, like, like the time we got into the to where Scarlett's whole bottom was opened up, and I had to put that
Mhm.
whole bottom flap back in. Well, that was like 2 months to heal her up, and I had to keep changing out drain tubes because it had kept getting so infected.
Have you had to deal a lot with like cut lips, like cut like from here to where the pat would like cut and like bust it right off?
Well, yeah, I had to finally take spades off because
Yeah,
I've had stapled it back on so much the scar tissue just wouldn't accept anything, so it was
yeah.
just time to amputate it. So really, before his end, he had no face, like his side was gone, and then a couple other ones. You know, it's hard, man. Once they like, especially well, think about this. I mean, groundhogs just take them right off. You know, what I mean?
Yeah,
They just take them
especially.
right off. So there's really nothing to put back. So um, there's really nothing to put back. They're
I,
gone.
I think we had Old who asked a question, said something about permethrin.
Promethean.
Yeah, he said I have Promethean. I was going to spray it around my fence line until I found out that you shouldn't use it if you have well water. I have well
Oh
water.
no. Yeah, don't use it if you have well water.
He said he's
Not
just going to put it on his dogs.
yeah. Dogs are fine. Don't go spraying your yard with it because it does contaminate. And people have to realize, promethean is a neurotoxin. So if you don't mix it right or mix it too strong, and this is just from experience because I I started I actually found a promethean spray and my dumb ass stopped mixing it up myself because I'm not gonna mention no names, but a very good friend of mine, like a brother, I hunt with a lot. We tend to mix up our own spray. And one day, I think I don't know which one was trying to outdo who, but we sprayed ourselves, right? And we both ended up having like milky white, like milk as our bug spray. Well, that did not turn out good, man. My lips started getting numb, my fingertips, and he started saying the same thing. I think we were poisoning ourselves.
Freaking
Like,
colors.
I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm about to go. I gotta get this shit off me, man. I had to strip down, man, and take a bottle of water and wash off like a bird bear. I was so paranoid I poisoned myself. Jesus Christ, and I sprayed the dogs with that. I'm an
He's
idiot.
trying to make his own bug spray.
Hey, man, cause yo, sometime, man, yo, you don't want to get no chiggers around your belt line, boy. That's man, that shit's painful, boy. And then
Oh,
one time I got him on my foot because I had to go down in the water to get spayed out, right? And somehow or another I got in this dirty ass water on the Kansas River. My feet got down in this mud. There was these old tree, like these rotted trees. Man, the next day my foot, boy, it was so infected from them fucking chiggers. I couldn't even put my hunting boots on, boy. It hurt so bad. Well, I just man through it, you know what I mean? But yo, I said, yeah, I'm gonna spray myself down with this homemade shit. It's gotta be that good shit. Nah, hell no, I was killing myself.
yeah.
Yeah, you was just talking about how a groundhog or something else might just straight bite a dog's lip or nose off. You have any dogs that was like they just knew how to avoid that? Or was
Um,
just not saying it's avoidable, like you know what I mean? They're in the whole shit goes down. But as they, is any dogs where it was just like they just knew how to get around it or they moved a little different or
oh man, I've seen some I've had some good dogs, but I've seen some really smart, amazing dogs down in them holes doing some yeah, it's amazing some of them can do. Back to the hole when I go down. like that one. Oh, see, all my kids were born into this, man. They're lucky, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I heard the Bubs commentary for that.
yeah, yeah.
what did he say? I couldn't. What did he say?
She was like, well, what about that one dog we had to go down the hole and then go this way and that way? And she's like, oh, we were telling all this story from the sideline, like, because this is my hunting partner, man, for a long
Oh,
time.
hey, it's good to see you too. It's been a minute. Hey.
That's Marshall.
How you doing?
And his name is Woods. And this is Carly.
How you doing?
Yeah, she works dogs. I actually lost her dog not too long ago, man. So she's done, she hasn't been the happiest camper with me. Dogs. Dad tends to lose everybody's dog.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard when you got like with these hunting dogs and you get like your kids or your wife or your girlfriend, whatever you got attached to it. Like,
I'll tell you one thing. If nothing else, I know they're built to be okay with a dog not being around too long.
yeah,
Right? I know that that's probably morbid, but like yo, they're just what I mean, because they know, man. I've told them since the day, like, hey, man, look, it may be that day that I take them out, and it used to be, Dad, what are you doing? I'm just taking the dogs for a walk. You know what I mean? Well, what happened to the dog? And it just didn't come back from the walk. I don't know. Like, what do I tell them?
Mhm.
They're good, but over time, they wanted to start going with me. So then I had to explain to them, like, look, these are working dogs. You know what I mean? These dogs, like, we work. Like, this is what we're into. We have a service. We go out and we eradicate nuisance critters for farmers and agriculture purposes. And at first, they didn't really understand that. Then they started going with me and they started learning. And then um, they was like, one day, one of them asked me, are these our pets? And I was like, they're our friends. Like, you know, a pet is a dog that's taken in the house and has no function except for being your friend and laying around. Whatever you do, the dog's gonna do. If you're gonna be lazy, the dog's lazy. You're overweight, the dog's overweight. Like that's a pet. These dogs have functions. These are functioning. These have a function. Like you're using them. Um, I don't think that anybody that's not going to use them for some type of sporting purpose, if it's barn hunts, terrier trials, scent work, whatever it is, you understand? Keep them active, keep them doing something productive. If you're just going to have them sitting in the house, bouncing off a wall, in an apartment, and this and that, that's not fair. They're not bred for that. You're going to drive them crazy.
You could drive them
And-
crazy doing barn hunt too. I mean, barn hunt will drive dogs insane because
Oh,
all
I
barn
bet.
hunt is sniffing the tube and then you yank them back. So
Yeah.
eventually, like either the dog gets so damn frustrated or the dog figures out, you know what, fuck this, ratting sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like it because you're holding them back, you know? That's I don't know, like the other day on the river, everybody was like, you ain't really had that bitch too long. Like you gonna turn her out like that? I was like, why wouldn't I? And they were like, well, she ain't got no recall. Well, that means I'm gonna be looking for a dog all day. I don't know. I don't know. You know? But I ain't gonna know if I don't do it. You know what I mean? I know that I was impressed with what I seen, you know, and I was happy, so I gotta do is, you know, more and more. The more I take her out solo, the more I'll know if I like her or not. But I don't work dogs in teams. Like I will if it's young. Like I'll take Ginger out with younger dogs, so she like they'll follow suit and learn off of her. But if a guy sends me an older dog or something, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about it?" Well, what'd you think about it before you sent it here? Why are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I should be telling you, like, damn, that was a badass dog you sent here, bro. Thanks. Well, like, if you start asking me, what do you think about it? When you sent that dog here for a reason, you know what I mean? You seen something and now you trying to get me to co-sign that shit.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have sent it away if
You
it
wouldn't have
was
sent the, hey, if that motherfucker was something badass, you wouldn't have sent that motherfucker. I
exactly.
take that, because I'm not sending you my badass dog. Like, I mean, like, that's just how it goes, man. That's human nature, man. That's, you know, so I don't know, man. Um,
Jamie Park said, bless for taking time to educate your kids on working dogs.
that's the only way we're gonna keep this sport really like a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people out here that don't that are against it all. You know, if it ain't like a little some type of rat, some white rat you bought at Petco in a tube on some fake sets, they're totally against it. It's like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, you trying to take everything from everybody? Like, it's only like your way or no way. No, that's not. That's not how the world works. You know. And I actually, my boys, it gives me time to be with my boys and my little girl. You know what I mean? Like I can't take her out because man, listen, if right now if I say yo, let's go, she would be first one, boots on, let's rock. Like,
That's what I'm hoping for, man. My wife has like such mixed feelings about doing earthwork. She's like kind of cool with ratting with the kid, but like the way she see me bring Barry back home after digs with you, she's like, I don't know if I want my kid necessarily off the rip.
hey, hey, my mom used to really get my ass after you leave on some of them days. She'd be like, look at that. I can't believe it. I'm like, man, relax, man. I got it. Like, yo, I got this. And then the next day she'd be like, oh, they don't look nothing like they did when they came home. Well, no, now they're cleaned up and surgically taken care of. Like, relax, calm down. Like, what'd you think it was? Hold on. Let me clean them up right now. No, I just be digging for 4 hours. Like, what's wrong with you?
We have to like drink water and stuff too and be ready to like do that shit.
And it was some days me and Marshall would sit on the creek bank and be like, I can't dig no more. And then you be like, you hear it, it's right there. It's like, all right, just a couple more shovels were there. Just a
There's a
couple more.
lot of times of debate hopping in that creek. Just
Oh
like
my
going back
God,
and forth doing.
just to cool off.
It's like that. That's crazy.
But yeah, I want to get my kids into it just as much as I'm into it, and maybe in some capacity. Maybe that's kind of what I'd utilize more like Earth Dog and like trial stuff for, is to kind of like build it for my kids and have it like in a really kind of structured manner.
Yeah, it helps with all that, keeping the hunting aspect alive too, which will also, because like any other dog, they could get popular,
Yeah.
or people start to know about them, they buy them up, and next thing you know, what they were originally bred to do is just not there at all anymore. Like, there's a lot of breeds like that. So getting the youth into it early keeps the hunting aspect alive.
Sorry if there's a lot of back noise in my mic, guys. I'm dealing with some sump pump issues with my basement, so dealing with some house ownership stuff as far as.
Hey, yo,
Nah, we
who
can't
I
hear
really.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the program we use they got a thing where it like takes out the background noise, so we can't really hear nothing but you, Marshall. I can't. I mean, at least I can't hear anything. But
No, I can't hear anything either. I just hear you.
yeah.
Um, man, there's some really good guys, man. I'd like to see on here, man. Like, I think you guys, like, I know you said that you had reached out to Robbie Marshall.
Yeah, if we can get Robbie on next week, that's the hope. So, Robbie, if you're listening, I'm gonna hit you up again.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. And oh, Robbie's super. Like, yeah, and I'm telling you, man, as much as I hate to say this, man, like, if you can get um even if you can get Daniel on here and get him to act right, like he's very
Daniel can hop on here too. Daniel, if you're listening, feel
he's
free to
so
hop on.
knowledgeable. He is knowledgeable. And he has a lot. Yeah, if you can get him to really, be right,
Anyone who's got a couple years experience in the game is passionate. If you hear this podcast, you want to hop on, just give me a yell. We can always learn knowledge. If you live in especially if you live in a state that we haven't talked about yet. If you live in a state we haven't talked about yet and you dig there, we gotta learn about it. Help us out.
Yeah.
We definitely want to talk to people from the
That's pretty
city.
much how I'm trying. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, cause like like there's been some guys that reached out to me that said they were new to the sport and this and that, and um, you know, when I came into this sport, into Patterdales itself, I came in from another earth working dog. Um, I had rat terriers. Now I'm not saying they're like this awesome, like this superior earth working dog. That's why I'm in the Patterdales, because they didn't have the stopping power
Oh yeah.
that and those dogs were more earthwork towards the end because I started going and like learning more about earthwork. Um, but the way I got into it was because of that dog named Tut. He just went in the ground one day. I was like, what the hell did he do that for? I was totally like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And then that was like my first experience ever. And I was like, what the hell? And then I started getting into it more and more. And I was like, hold up. I was like, I'm losing these rat terriers. Like, God damn, like, what the hell? There's got to be something out there that does this they wouldn't do it. Like, so I started researching, and I met a guy named Jerry Kiker on the internet. Really knowledgeable guy, a really good guy, and he likes the Mason line. So he's got some good Mason dogs. But I don't know if Jerry watches or not, but I know he's on some of the boards. You'll see him on some of the boards, the PTCA, some other ones. And if you reach out to Jerry, he'll share what he knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll
And
just reach out to Jerry, get him
yeah,
on
he's
here.
very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, for
Yeah, he's
sure.
good. He really knows that Mason line, really like the back of his hand too. He knows about a lot of them, but I know
You
he's
don't
got
have any. You don't have any Masons, right? I know
no.
we spoke about this before a little bit.
I don't personally have any Mason dogs. Um, I actually just got this bitch. She's right here. I can pull her in the door like right this second. She's like right here at the door.
You got the Pebbles looking dog?
Yeah, she's right here at the door.
Dad, can you wash this lunchbox for me?
Tim used to have this dog named Pebbles that I hunted with. And Pebbles might be like the most animal aggressive dog I've ever met. Not just like being a Patterdale, but just like dog, period.
Yeah, anything that was alive except for a human, she
She would
would
try to
like.
kill my male Patterdale. Just like I would have to pick him up and survive.
She was, man, that dog was a fucking terror. She can't. She was a Fulford dog off the Noah line. But let me tell you
Yep.
something, bro. She had as much grit as any dog you would want to have,
Oh yeah,
and she was
100%.
one of my first. She was the shit.
Yeah, she would just lock on to whatever. She was like groundhogs. Like she would just like go face to face with them in the hole and spin around, and like the groundhog would come out cut, and she'd come out cut. And I'd be one to put my Patterdale down, but I'd be scared that she'd try to grab my Patterdale and grab the groundhog at the same time. It's a freaking 14-pound
that's
dog.
the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
I
Oh,
quit
she
it.
was like Pebbles. Shit.
Dog aggressive dog trying to hunt them.
Stout. See, that's the kind of build I like, honestly, a lot. That's my personal preference as far as like size and look. Really is that dog and Pebbles, honestly.
So this is Cricket.
Let's get a side view of that dog if you can. Perfect. And you can easily span her too.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck, all the way around her.
How old?
Cricket is 3.
So Cricket's the kind of dog where you would probably like. How much you think she weigh?
Cricket,
Yeah.
she's right now probably about 15 pounds, 16 pounds heavy. I'd say she's
Yeah.
probably about 15 pounds heavy because
Yeah.
she's thick and short. So she looks like she's lighter than what she is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's sharp looking, man.
Yeah, she looks good.
She's all go. Like, I personally haven't had her on anything. I've seen what she's been on. Um, but I hunted her the other day on the river, just her and me. And she was all go like Spade. She's down off of Spade.
So she's got like Spade's head. It's crazy.
Yeah, she's and so look, I'm gonna make. I know whoever was laughing. This is really a joke, and I don't even care no more. Like I'm past all the bullshit. She comes down off a controversial breeding.
Toaster, right?
No, not Toaster's nothing controversial to Toaster. She comes down off that controversial cocker breeding that I did
Ah, yeah.
from Mike. So he's a friend of mine. I bred my male to his female. There was some controversy, caused some trouble, whatever, immature shit, really, right? On everybody's part that was involved. Okay. But he was getting out dogs, and I was like, fuck, man, I'm owed them dogs, you know. Like, well, damn, I might as well go get her, you know what I mean? Just see. So I kind of just said, I'm gonna try it, and see what, I bred them. Let's see what I made, you know what I mean? And so far, I like the way she hunts. So I really don't care how she's bred. These days, that like if it's a good dog and it works,
Yeah.
it's a good dog and it works. There's really no like special sauce in any of them. You can get a good dog in any line. Some are better than others, I think. But when I say that, it's not that they're better um, just because of the name of the line or whatever. Some of them just got different abilities, you know what I mean, that you like to see. Some guys don't like that ability. It might be totally different than what I like than what you like. We may be out hunting. You might say, "Oh, I didn't like her at first, now I like her." Well, I might. You never know how it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just got to give it a chance. You can't be biased to it. You just can't be biased.
Makes sense. It's the only way to learn, try it out. The only way to really learn is to try it out. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice looking dog, though.
Yeah, it's crazy how much she looks like that dog Spade, her sire. Like we hunted so much of Spade.
You gonna get another Patterdale soon, Marshall?
I don't think she want to get another Pat. I just want to figure out how much space I have to hunt and where I can hunt right now.
And that's the
I'm
thing.
to kind of learn my space.
Yeah, because you don't want to get something too big for up there, because then what are you doing? Defeating the purpose. Like, you're working a dog that's, you're always going to have to be trying to get out of something. Like, are you going to be able to get it out? You know what I mean? You know how it goes. Look how many times we had to dig down to Herman because he was stuck going through a turn. And we
Yeah.
thought he was on, you know what I mean? We thought he had something there. We had dig down to him, and they had blocked, he couldn't make that turn. He was just stuck, he just couldn't do it. You know, it's not he couldn't get he just couldn't get to it physically. You know, it was impossible for him to do it. You know, he was just too big.
Wide
So
body.
you know, um, what's that say right there? The sound is what? Oh, the sound is
Sound
good.
is good. You're just checking it.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
like it's like okay, dairy work. Like I was asked a question, right? My man hit me up. He was like, "Hey, bro, I got a bunch of dairies around my place. How did you get onto them?" Okay, I don't have that answer. I don't know because different people different people act different about their property. You know what I mean? You go out there and start messing with dairy cows, and your dog jumps on somebody's dairy cow. That's that man's livelihood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you're gonna cause a lot of trouble. So you have to make sure your dogs are stock broke.
yeah.
Then, if you're working on a real serious dairy, like they're out here, like you do not work dairies during the day because your dog is dead. And it's not dead because of the quarry. It's dead because it'll get run over.
Yeah.
Like there's so much activity on a dairy during the day moving. You have to work at night. You know what I mean? And then you have to have a dog that's smart. You have to have a dog that knows what they're doing because it's dark out there. You can't really run headlamps the whole time because then the coons see you. So you gotta run red lamp. So then you're running red lamp, and you know it's hard to see that far with red lamp. It's like so it's a whole different hunt. And then a lot of that is, I guess you could say, not really above ground. It does get into where as though your dog's in there working them bales, and they're in there. You can't get to them. Like
Yeah.
they're like that's where.
She's a half asleep. She went. I don't know what that means.
Okay, I'll go get it. So, it's like one day my man was like, "You keep saying Ginger ain't hard, but boy, she be dragging him out of there." I was like, "Yeah, but like she's a hard mixer. You know what I mean? She's not like all in there, gonna take super amount of damage, and just she picks her shot." Like as soon as she'll sit there, she'll sit there, and boom, she hits. And as soon as she hits, she grabs and she'll start trying to draw. But then there's sometimes, man, she has to sit there for a minute,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get to her, so she just had to suffocate them out. You know what I mean? But when I have gotten her, like where she's gotten to where I can pull her back legs to help her drag out, man, that girl is limp,
Have you been hitting
limp
them with
noodle.
that?
Yeah,
You hit them with that.
yeah. And so, um, it's like, um, it's all different, man. It's everything's a different game. Like some guys, I know some guys that don't even let their dog once they get down to them, they just dispatch quick. You know what I mean? Like that was enough for them. They didn't want to see nothing else. They don't want no damage.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen all sorts of dogs, but there's different groups of guys that hunt different ways too. There's like, um,
Yeah, we
Even
was
how
talking
we
about
use
the
the
free
lurcher.
cat thing earlier.
huh?
We was
Even how
talking.
we use. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Marshall. Go ahead.
I said even how like I use a lurcher with you sometimes. Like that's some people won't even do that at all.
No, right, exactly. You know what I mean?
And how's that? How do you use the lecture with him? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, some people like won't even will just use the terriers and just if it flushes, it flushes. They won't bother having it, or they'll do the quick dispatch with the pistol as opposed to like a lurcher.
Yup. Yeah, because
Or for-
there's been times that Spade or Scarlet had pushed Fox out, and the Fox had bolted, and Barry would get on their ass. You know what I mean? So as soon as they bolted, it was always nice to have a catch dog there. And Barry, being a lurcher, boom, he'd be on it. You know,
Yeah,
and so
get
um,
done quick.
and that's kind of like old style, you know what I mean? Like if you think, like you hear guys talk, I know a lot of guys that run lurchers. There's a lot of good guys over in Jersey. That's how a lot of them hunt. They run lurchers too, in case of a boat. You know, and really good guys, like real good guys. Guys that are really about their work. They got really good dogs. Um, hunt hard, like fuck, dude, hard. And they hunt a lot of fox. You know what I
I
mean?
was
So
gonna say, I was gonna ask you where they hunt, and there's a lot of open field where they're at because with
Yeah.
allergy.
it's a lot of open farmland.
Okay.
You know,
A lot of open soybean fields and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's like they're digging through
yeah,
chocolate cake.
yeah,
They do
exactly.
that.
It's really good digging, like, and there's a lot of quarry there, a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's really nice. Um, and then you know, um, Virginia wasn't too bad at digging either.
Honestly, after hunting with you, I fuck with Delaware a lot. Like Delaware is kind of like a little hybrid of like Jersey and Maryland to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
yeah, it's its own little sweet honey hole.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I like Maryland, Delaware, Jersey. PA's nice. PA's kind of depending on where at in PA, you get your ass up in some hills that are got like nothing but rock. It's
Oh
like
yeah, Western PA. Is the worst.
man, like yeah, West Virginia's rocky too. I know Brandon and them always talking about how rocky and how like the terrain there is just like shit. You know, um, Kansas is nice, man. Like there's some like depending on what part you hit in Kansas, you thank you, baby. What part you hit in Kansas, you might like depending on like what you hit. Um, there's been a few times me and Robbie hit a lot of slate, or I guess it was slate, whatever that stone is. But I know there was a lot of it, and it took man. I was like, God damn this, and it was on a hillside, man, and it was hot. And then it
Pickaxe.
was that was funny because Robbie, we get down in we're down in the hole, right? Robbie's up above me. And he's like, man, I swear I seen something move. And I was like, what? He was like, it's behind me in my in that tree. And I was like, what? And the tree was going out over top this pond, right? And I was like, so it was crazy because um we had actually lost the dogs, and it was one of the times we had to take the locators out and start walking around to get it to ping to find out where the hole was they had. And we did that, and then we started cutting in, and we hit that rock. And then as we're cutting in, um, Spade, I got pictures of it somewhere. I think I've showed you where Spade's face is just coming out of that clay hole. And I guess I hit another part of the set, and it opened it up. And as I was cutting through, I guess I didn't see it. Robbie seen it. I'd never even seen this coon go by me or whatever, and into this tree. And I was like, what? Well, Spade pops his head out, and instantly, um, Robbie's little bitch, her name's Eve, comes out behind, up over top of Spade and up over top of Robbie, and instantly into that tree. And Spade goes off and so Robbie starts cutting is on top of it, and with doing a little show, we start trying to cut the tree open. And the damn coon shoots out the thing and jumps into the water, and there goes Spade, man. And I was like, son of a bitch. So the coon is lucky, like a little bit ahead, but um, Robbie saved Spade that day because that coon was going to put his ass underwater. And Robbie jumped in and grabbed him, grabbed the coon by the neck, had the coon in one hand and Spade in the other, treading water. That was a funny hunt. I was like, Jesus Christ. He's like, grab one of them. I was like, what do you want to grab, the coon or the dog? I was praying and hoping he didn't say the coon.
Jamie in Park in a roundabout way, yeah, he came from Jeff, but originally it was from Biggs, and then Biggs gave him to Jeff, and then I took Henry from Jeff, and then he sent Sam back to Biggs. So in a roundabout way, yeah, he came from Jeff.
Oh, so Mr. Parkin and bred Henry?
Nah, he's a friend of a guy named Jeff Lentz in Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
who had Henry and Sam for a while.
Oh,
And
Mr. Lentz. Yeah, yes, yeah. I haven't ever spoken to him, but I've heard of him. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
Now
Mr. Lentz. Yep.
not earlier, a minute ago, you were saying that sometimes you got to take out the trackers or the locators just to find where they're at or figure out what hole they're in or whatever. That's also now we was talking about free casting earlier. That would be one of the biggest negatives about free casting, right? Is that
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your dog could just end up somewhere and it's in a
Well,
hole.
the negative with free
half a
casting,
mile away.
I guess the negative with free casting is if you got a dog that ranges out and like you're hunting timber. You know, the dog ranges out like you said, like we were having a conversation about how you said your bitch may go out 100 yards and then all of a sudden you look back and she's coming from behind you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She's already tracked out and came from behind you. But in the timber, you don't like. It's hard to see that. It's hard. You know what I mean? Um, they could disappear into a hole that's down on the side of a tree. You know that hole could go down and get to a rotten spot and then come back up in the trunk. Now your dog's inside the tree.
Yeah.
Unless your dog has um one thing about Spade and Robbie's dog Griffin does this. We call him the snitch barks, and they'll bark until they see you, and then they'll shoot down the hole. Like I don't know where they learned it. What I don't know any of it. I don't
You
know. They
said
just
what
did.
dogs are those?
Spade and Griffin. We call them the
Okay.
snitch bark because
Very
they'll
delicious.
locate and they'll stay at the hole, right? And they'll keep looking and they'll see. And as soon as they see that you know where they're at, they're gone. But they would always stay and look and see. Okay, they know where we're at. See you, and they would just go. And I didn't do that. I got him, and he did that. And Griffin does that. Robbie has a dog named Griffin. He does that. It's amazing. Um, but also seeing Griffin locate places that probably normal dogs wouldn't locate. Like he's got a nose out. It's like it's crazy. You have to see it to believe it. Just to hear about it is like you think somebody's just pulling your leg.
Is there a bloodline you think that has like the best nose? Or like you said earlier, it just depends on the dog or the you know what I mean? But is there a bloodline where you think that just has the best nose or that's kind of like their trait?
Um. Well, I know that inky. I know a lot of that inky roster stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever that really is, has a lot of locating abilities. And
That's what I learned
that's
all
pretty
about.
much what you're going to hear them called inky rosters. When you have Robbie on here, he would be able to go into more detail of really what the background and foundation of those dogs are.
Okay.
Um, if it doesn't come from Robbie or Cody or Scott, um, or maybe like really where the original ones come from, I really wouldn't go off anybody else's opinion because they don't really know shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you want the real history of those dogs, you go to the Kansas boys. Like they're going to give you the best information and the most accurate, I think. Um, just like if you want to go, um, if you want to go to a Vettel dog, who would you go to? You go to Mr. Park.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a Noah dog, um, and again, I guess you would go to myself. I would go to Todd Fulford or Brandon Fulford because um, and then you could, then you see Biggs, um, cut up
He-
kennels. They
He's got Doc. So it's Perry's
yeah, he's
brother.
got Doc, so he's got a lot of that. He's got a lot of Noah blood up there, you know what I mean? And so I think a lot of that's Nuttall, a lot of old Nuttall blood.
Yeah.
So, and then you got like the old Mason stuff. That had a lot of locating ability from like what I see in the old stuff. I don't know, like I've seen a lot of that new stuff I didn't really like. Um, Not that I can't. I've only hunted with a little bit of it too, though. But I guess that 66 guns wasn't that a Mason dog?
Yeah. That's
So that dog actually had a good nose from what I was like from what I seen, just off of like certain little clips or whatever. Like I was shared with people shared with me. I never worked behind him or anything like that, so I don't know personally how he works. But I heard good things about him. I don't know. Like I said, I've never worked behind him. I do know the man that owned him, though. You know what I mean? He was happy with him, so you know,
You try to
that's
work.
that's all that really mattered.
Yeah.
That he was happy with the dog. Um, most of my encounters with dogs, um, I started off with the roughneck dogs, and they were when I got them, they were they were line bred, but they were more or less like they had like the Kickapoo blood. Um,
Who is Kickapoo? You hear a lot about Kickapoo when I first got into Patterdales. All I
the
heard
man,
was going back to Kickapoo.
a father and son, duo out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They deal with I spoke to him a couple times, and really good men, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't speak to the father, spoke to the son, and and I say son, but he was a man, you know, a grown man. He was in the Air Force and whatnot, and I asked him about some dogs, and he was all about helping me. He was really down to earth, and I know a couple men that messed that they're hunting with him, they're friends with him, and they say he's a really good guy, but I don't really think they're in the dogs no more. But that Kickapoo, like just for my I think some of like a lot of that stuff, I don't know who has it now, but um if there's any of it left, you know, maybe down through the you could trace it back down through the roughneck dogs to some of the people that got the original like stuff that came down off those um the Boomer Eve,
Yeah.
Rumble and stuff like that, like the Rumble breedings and the Boom. See, I'm more particular on the roughneck dogs. I'm kind of I favor the stuff that comes off the Eve and Boomer breedings, because that's where my dog Coke came from, and I seen a lot of dogs consistent like worked. You know, even though people talk shit, because of I guess you know whatever they say, but um every guy that I know that ever worked a roughneck dog, like really worked a roughneck dog, he's either lost them in the ground or something's happened to them because they're crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So um a lot of guys say, oh, they weren't ever they come down off of untested dogs, this and that. No, they don't. They don't come down off untested dogs. They come off dogs that that were hunted as a pack because
Yeah.
Curtis Curtis didn't have a lot of hunting partners, and Curtis didn't want a lot of hunting partners. You know what I mean? So the only way he could get out and hunt was to hunt multiple dogs at a time. Um, a lot of people look down on that.
Yeah, what's
Teach
your opinion on that,
teach them
Macho and Tim?
what
I've
hunting multiple dogs.
Huh?
I've
Yeah,
done
hunting multiple dogs. Yeah.
it.
Well, I'm
It's
saying if you, me, and Marshall go out
yeah.
and we all bring a dog, right? Is that fair for one of us to motherfucking skip out on the hunt, right, and leave our dog in the box? That's not fair. You came out to hunt, right? So you dropping multiple dogs at that time, okay? Then that's where the hunt is like, okay, there's multiple dogs on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this ain't you're out there hunting as just being a group. You know what I mean? You're out there trying to have fun. This
Mm-hmm.
ain't this ain't like, oh, I'm trying to see what this dog doing, because at that point you're not seeing them dogs. If them dogs range out, you don't know who located. You
Yeah.
usually have like your next stage is you usually have one dog barking because he can't get in the hole. You have one dog that's in the tube. You have a dog that's behind it trying to get past it or whatever the case. Excuse me. Now as handlers, you're trying to, hey, Woods, you hear them dogs? Yeah, they're over here, bro. Boom, let's get to him. Bang, we get to him. Marshall grabs his dog because he's at the tube. He's barking. He can't get in. He hurries up and chains him off with a lead around a tree. You do the same. Now, we all turn our collars off. Whoever's dogs isn't in the hole, you turn your collar off. You know what I mean? So you're not over here catching a ping from one of these outside dogs. We're trying to locate the dog in the hole. So
Exactly.
you heard now as a handler, you turn it off. You know what I mean? You don't but there's three of us out there. We got three dogs. Two guys have to, and then that's where if a dog is really in a tight situation and you get down to them and half their face is hanging off and the dog is just busted, you pull that dog and send another dog in. You know what I mean? Like, that's it is what it is. That's how it goes. But do I think you turn 3-4 dogs loose on something?
Yeah.
The most I went out with was 7, and in the politest way possible to say it, it was a clusterfuck. Like
You're gonna get some. You're gonna end up having a dog fight.
that's what happened.
That and
It was
you know,
chaos.
at some point, you got too many people who's gonna want to send their dog in a hole. I mean,
Yeah, that doesn't work, man.
got 10 damn 11 dogs finding 1 or 2 holes.
But that's not. That's where like. That's also where like if you go out, guys should be like have more sense. Like we go out, okay. Let's say we go to one of these planned hunts, okay.
Mhm.
Everybody goes up. Everybody wants to see each other. Everybody wants to drop their dogs to show everybody, like, oh, this and that. You know what I mean? Well, there's 25 fucking dogs here. So you
Yeah.
think you're going to drop 25 fucking earth dogs at one time? Oh, no, this isn't going to work. So that's where you say, okay, this hunt is 3 days. We got 25 dogs. Well, we need to figure out something, gentlemen. Somebody's got to be some guides. Whoever put this hunt on isn't hunting. They have to be guides. And now you have to break it down and you have to figure out how many guys responsible you can take to each property you got and say, hey, this, you're going to hunt here. These group of guys are going to hunt here. And then there might be, you might not even draw that day. You might wait till the next day.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that everyone's gonna have to understand that you could be out there. You could be out there for 2-3 days and not find shit.
Yeah, and you might not even be able to drop your dog because you just didn't. You know, you got to come up with some type of order system saying, "Hey, okay, you hunted yesterday, you can't hunt today, but you're going to go out and you're going to help dig." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You got to do something. You got to be on the shovel. You're still hunting. You know what I mean? You still got to participate. But hopefully you don't have 25 people show up. It's like,
Yeah.
so I don't like hunting with a lot of people anyway, man. Like it. I like when I'm hunting, man. That's like I'm out ratting. Like when we was in the city with Marshall ratting, that's cool. We're conversating, we're talking and shit. But we're in the city ratting. You know, what I mean? Most of these dogs are on long leads. They're not running free. This and that. Hey, me and Marshall and other guys I'm in the woods with, man, you might hear about 5, 6 words from each other the whole time you're out there. Hey, did you hear that? That's mostly what you hear. Psst,
We just whistle. Yeah.
yo, you hear that? Yeah, they over here. Yeah, man, you're not over there. Hey, man, what you think about that boxing match last night? Yeah, Tank got his ass knocked out. Boy, it was a late hit. Nah, none of that shit. We're not over here conversating about that shit. Because as you are, your dog's in a serious situation and you don't walk past the motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Where they at? They were right here
Yes,
last time I seen them.
obviously, and you know, if you're free casting, for sure that could happen.
Yeah, you got to be quiet. Yeah, you gotta listen. You know. Now, if you're just running the dog up the set, because you know you had like, you know, the farmer called you and said he had a fox he seen run up in this fence post, and you go there and there's a hole. Well, that's fine. Go set some bolt nets and then send your dog in there. Or if you got a lurcher, get ready because it's going to bolt. If
Yeah.
not, you're gonna have to get ready to dig. 1 of the 2. Something gonna happen. But that's where
Or
you let
both.
the to the set. That's yeah, or both. You might have multiple because I swear the other night I know we bolted. I know it was a fox, but how many? Who knows? It's going into breeding season. Like that could have been an active breeding den. I don't know. I mean, who knows? We didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
So um free casting is a different monster. A lot of guys don't like it. A lot of guys won't do it. And I don't think it's they won't do it because they're scared their dogs can't do it or won't do it. I think half the guys don't want to do it because hey, it takes a lot of work to troop through some uneven terrain and through water and wet rocks and man
They
shit,
might
yeah.
they might bring you right where you wasn't trying to go.
Exactly. And next thing you know, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, uh you have to be in some type of shape to do this shit.
And where we're at, there's a lot of on one farm we go to, we gotta watch out for a lot of poison ivy. So a farm like that.
Yeah, you don't want that shit all over you.
No, you
Yeah,
do not.
you don't want that shit all over you or your dog. And you do things like we were showing a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of sprays and stuff like that. You do things to try to
I've gotten it bad before after digs. I've gotten this so bad.
yeah.
Man,
With
my
this one
eyes
spot
swell
where we
shut.
go, it's just like it's like a area where it's
Oh,
just all in it. So it's like that's like like we were just saying, your dog will bring you exactly where you don't want to
don't
go.
want to be.
that's what your dog will run right up in there, in the middle of it, and now
So,
your dog got it and you got it. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, and it's all over you. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like
So.
out here, I hate when dogs get in pack rat nests because pack rats are big and
Mhm.
they make their nests right, and they take these things. They're these oh man, I don't know what kind of cactus it's called, but I know them motherfuckers be round, right? And they got the sharpest damn needles. And every single time the dogs come out, they be cut. Their faces be covered in them motherfuckers, and they go right through leather gloves. Man, they hurt so bad getting them out. Oh, I hate it. So I use needle nose pliers now. I know it hurts the dog a little bit worse because you can't really get a good grip and yank it off, man. But shit, my fingertips hurt. Them things poking, man. Shit. I told him, I said, I'm gonna have to get these out with these. I'm sorry, yo. These leather gloves ain't working. Like, yo, it hurts.
The gloves are not doing the trick.
Nah, they be hurting. I be like, hell nah, these are some type of like crazy ass cactus. I said, man, this shit, they got like fuck. Or when they get down inside those oh, what kind of tree is that that got them thorns on it, man? I call them God trees. I hate when there's a set under those because you forget those thorns is on there, man, and you lean against the trunk. Ugh, fuck.
That sounds
Oh, it's horrible. I've put my palm on them so many times, dog, and come up off that thing. I had to sit back because, yo, it's like stepping on a Lego. I'm like, oh my God, that shit hurts. Oh, like, God damn, what I just touched. It felt like it stung me. Shit. I'm like, man, shit. Nah, man, it's yo. If you said you guys got dairies there, right?
There's yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so you gotta so see dairy work. You gotta kind of like go up in there and you gotta sell yourself as that you're going in to eradicate nuisance critters, and you gotta kind of like show them that I'll send you the information on the parasite that the coons that it's a it's a it's like a worm that from the scat that gets down inside the feed, and then they come in with mass loaders and they just fill up. I mean, they don't know they're scooping up shit. I mean, they don't know it like it's in there, but they know it's probably in
Yeah.
there, and then it gives the cows. So you have to go in there and say you're. And the best way to do it, the first thing every fucking farmer and every rancher and every dairy owner and everything worries about is how much it's going to cost them. Your access is to say,
yeah.
oh, this is a free service. Really? Yes, sir. Is it really? Would you like to come out with me one night? I'll show you. And right then and there, boy, you done reeled them in. They're letting you on their property. But then, like I said, you got to make sure them dogs are stock broke because your dog get on a cow. You don't want them. Listen, first of all, you don't want to go through a stampede, like start like a stampede in one of them pens. More than likely, your dog's gonna get stomped to death. Cause I've been there. My dog got stomped to death. Came out looking all crazy. I was like, wow, stomped her. But um, plus they get pissed off, man. Them dairy farmers, man, they get pissed off. You mess with them cows.
I mean, as they should. I mean, and that's what we do. We send out a letter and let them and let farmers know that we'll basically help them out for free. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. Agriculture, free agricultural pest control.
Yeah, you know what I mean. To put it in short terms. Uh, Oldwood Stafford's got a question. How often do you hear about coon paralysis?
Paralysis. Well, I personally have dealt with it, and it seems like I've dealt with it more towards, um, I guess you would say like, um, with big boar coons.
Broken
They're
teeth.
broken teeth, really pissy bottoms. Like they've been laying in a lot of urine. I guess that's from like whatever they do, if that's their mating or whatever the case might be. But I tend to see it more towards I guess you would say like the summer, like the spring and like summer time, you'll
Mhm.
see a lot of it. Not saying you can't really catch it or anything. You don't see it during winter time, but I've seen it during like more warmer times, like um
That makes sense. That's when diseases, you know.
bacteria and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. That's when all that is eaten. You know what I mean?
And I also have noticed that a lot of it comes because see raccoons have no saliva glands, and that's why they wet everything to eat. So um, I tend to see it around. I tend to see it happen to dogs that hunt coons that are around like stagnant water systems, water that doesn't move that much. You know, it's like more like rain, like that. You know, it changes with the rains.
Yeah, no
Um,
natural filter type
yeah, no
water.
natural filter. Yes. So like out here, they got those separating ponds for the cow shit and the water runoff. So it separates the two. So you have all that bacteria, and that's where they get a lot of their water source from is those separating ponds. So I think that's why I see it. But what I use for that is let me get the-
That makes sense to drink.
I use a heavy steroid, um, prednisone or yeah, prednisone.
Prednisone.
I use a prednisone. Yeah, I use prednisone 20 milligrams twice a day. What it after? I mean, you don't really see it. It's got a 14-day incubation period. So like 14 days after the hunt, anywhere from like 14 to 20 days, you'll start hearing them lose their bark. It sounds like kind of like that. It just start being like real low, and then it'll go away permanent, like not permanently, but it'll go away, like it's going, and then they'll start losing motor skills. They'll start like being off. Most of the time, it affects their back legs, but I've seen it affect their front legs.
They'll say it paralyzes them type shit.
Yeah, they become paralyzed, but they can eat, drink. You just gotta like pick them up. You know what I mean? They're like limp noodles.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we went in pretty depth last time you were here about Coon paralysis. I think we definitely talked on it for like a good 30 minutes last time we had you on. We
Yeah.
went
Yeah,
into depth.
that shit's serious, man. Like that
Yeah.
shit's
So if you want to know a little bit more, anyone tuned in right now, you could always go back to that first video with Tim and
There was a
yeah.
gentleman that reached out to me, man, that works has a working I don't want to if he's listening, I don't mean to disrespect you if it's not a working staffy bull. It probably is a bulldog, pit bull. Um a working pit bull, but I for some reason I thought it was a staffy bull. But anyway, she had caught coonhound paralysis and she took a beating, man, when it came to muscle structure.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just her. I think it's just something it does to the dogs itself. It kind of busts them down structurally. So, um, I've noticed like pumping them full of chicken broth and stuff like that tends to help them out a lot too. But I think that's just keeping them hydrated and with nutrition in them. You know, man, coons are hell, man. You don't know what you might get. Like just recently, somebody told me that you can that there's some type of rabies that pigs are carrying. That it's like if the dogs get a hold of their blood or something, they and I was like, what? And I was like, man, you're pulling my leg. And the dude was serious. Like he was really like serious. So I've been trying to
Pigs
research
or
it.
boars? Pigs
What's
or
it
wild
called?
boars or both?
Say what?
Regular,
Re-
like
oh no, wild
regular
pigs,
farm pigs.
wild pigs, wild boar, yeah, wild pigs.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's what? And he's like, it's some type of, I guess it's like a blood rabies or some crazy shit. And but I don't know that for a fact. I was just told to me, and I thought the dude was pulling my leg. I actually need to reach out to a couple of my friends that hunt these hogs a lot more than I do to find out, because I really don't want to, like, you know what I mean? That I feel like shit if I suck my dog on a hog, and next thing I know, died a couple of days later because they had ingested the blood or something. I'm like, the fuck, like. I ain't never heard no shit like that, but okay. I'm not gonna put it past it. I ain't never know, you know.
Yeah.
That's like my man. I didn't know game and fish was poisoning these damn hogs, right? So next thing I know, we cut this one open because he was like, "Yeah, look at this shit." He was telling me about it. I ain't believing. So we smoked one and we cut it open, and the inside was blue. It was a poison. It
Damn.
turned blue, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But then they didn't realize that these motherfuckers getting hit by cars and all this other shit, right, on these back roads, and the other animals is eating these motherfuckers and they poisoning them. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess they eliminated that shit.
Stopped it, yeah.
But yeah, but who knows? You know, that's like um that's like all this like when you was young, you didn't hear nothing about this chronic rot like shit with this deer. You know what I mean? Chronic rice disease or whatever it's called. Then
Mhm.
all of a sudden,
Yeah, that shit's wild.
yeah, well, like then I told my man, well, look at all the shit they pumping in the water that they drink, like all these water runoff areas. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Some type of mutation, disease, or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Fucking
back then,
contaminating everything.
yeah, yeah, like but okay. So my man asked me, he was asking me, he said, "Yo, do you feed your dogs raw meat?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Why?" I said, "It's a raw diet. I mean, it's better for them." I said, I do add kibble, a high end kibble, but not every day. Like, that's not, I don't feed kibble every day." So
Mhm.
they were like, "But what's that do?" I was like, "Different. It's what are you feeding them? Raw chicken? You feeding them, raw red meat, fish? What are you doing? Like, everything's different, different
Nutrients,
diet,
whatever, yeah.
yeah, different nutrition and stuff. What are you trying to do? And I'm not really good at explaining things to people. I'm good at just like reading and learning and then kind of staying to myself and just doing it. But then like people reach out to me lately and it's like, man, I don't know how to like, I don't know if I want to talk to you or not.
Have you heard of boiled eggs and chicken broth as a good recovery and generally good for pups? Schedule. I mean, I give my dogs eggs. I don't really do the chicken broth too much, but
I
I heard
do.
it's good for them. Yeah, I heard it's good for them, but yeah, I give my
Yeah,
dogs
Every time, Mayo.
raw eggs, but I don't boil
I
them.
do. Nah, I don't boil them. I do raw. I will give them. I mean, if I got old boiled eggs in there that I ain't gonna eat, I will throw them in there and give them to them. But
Yeah, because
most of
it's
the time, I
good. Yeah,
just it's the same. I just crack them and actually I drop the shell and everything in there. Like I just crack them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I do with
Yeah.
yeah. I
Um.
just throw the shell in there, throw the whole
Yeah, I
egg.
do the whole egg. I just crack it. You know what I mean? Whatever. I just drip it
Yeah,
over there, and then I do. It depends. Like summertime, they usually don't. Depending on how hot it is, I'll do like a broth in their food, but not a warm broth.
now, do you
Wintertime,
use that? Do you use that? Not to cut you off, like
no, you can
the question. Do you use that as a recovery? Like, is that something you give them on the regular? Like, how sometimes if they got hives, they'll tell you give your dog yogurt and boiled
stuff
chicken.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
or like if they get a hold of something and they think it's congested, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah.
it's
Do you
kind of like
use the? Do you
pumpkin and all
use
that stuff.
exactly? Do you use the chicken broth? I mean, you already said you use the egg in both, but do you use it as a recovery? I mean, you just use it regular.
I do use it during recovery. Like if I got a dog in sick bay, it seems to help keep them like it does help keep them recovered.
Okay,
Um,
to answer
I got
Samantha's question.
so I
Show them NutriCal. That's a good
uh,
recovery thing, too.
this is like for depletion in the field. This has got all sorts of vitamins and stuff in it. It's called NutriCal. Well, this one's called NutriGel, but it's usually called NutriCal. Um, So with this is you have all these vitamin amino acids and everything. Kind of helps them bounce back. Even on a dig, like you just pull this out, one comes out, they're like give them like, and it comes out. It's kind of like a paste. It's kind of like it's more like a tar, like a syrup.
Okay.
You just
Thick
get them
stuff.
like you just
It
get them
works.
like get them probably like I don't know. I just squeeze it out, give them a little bit. You know, I don't really measure it. So maybe if you want to say measure wise, maybe a spoonful, right? And I'm
Hey,
gonna,
Henry, full.
I'm gonna it's definitely gonna make them wake up like a Red Bull,
Yeah, well, it makes Henry run in circles.
run circles.
Yeah, just
So
run really hard
um,
circles.
it
Dog
does.
catnip.
Yeah, it's
It's
exactly
a
like
dog
it.
food workout.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it does it. I've brought them back from like whatever you call it. I don't know if it's shock, but I know short they were freezing to death, and I've given them that, and it kind of woke their asses up and gave them some type of extra pep in their step, from freezing.
It must get the adrenaline going.
It gives it's like a natural adrenaline booster. It's
Mm.
just high calories, just really high in calories. I usually keep it on. I keep it in my pack. I become a believer of it. So I don't know if it's a miracle potion or what, but it does work wonders. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's gonna save them, but it does do something. So, um, like skunks, it helps with skunks. Like if you can get a dog and they're like really took a nasty blast, and you can get them cleaned up and get some of that in them, it kind of helps them like get get back on track and out of that funk from getting blasted. But you got to watch with dog because I know some. I've had a couple of dogs. If they got blasted, boy, and you even try to touch them, they'd chew you up.
Yeah.
So I just steer clear of them until they. But like when they do get back to normal, I give them some of that, and it seems like to help them wake the fuck up.
Yeah, that's a good.
As you
And that's,
heard,
I mean, that's something we could talk about too in one of these episodes. Get a little bit deeper into that stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy we had you back on, Tim.
yeah, I
It's
appreciate y'all, man. I mean, shit. I know it was spur of the moment. I know I was like, I wasn't like, I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, I'll just come on. You know what I mean? I figured we talked about the collars, and a couple other people had asked me after that last podcast about the collars, and I was like, well, Marshall and I'm gonna have an episode on there, so just catch that one.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the fly too. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate y'all having me, man. I really enjoy it, man. I like watching y'all. You know what I mean? Gives me something to do, and
yeah.
I like to hear from different people. You know what I mean? Like um, Robbie. I think y'all really enjoy Robbie. Um,
I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm excited to have Robbie on. I got so many questions for him about the dogs that I saw from him. Like it's just so many questions.
Oh, Tsunami has a question. Do you like sardines or fish oil? ABTs like fish in their food. American Pit Bull Terriers like fish in their food, and the omega acids are healthy. Yeah, same. I mean, that's for all
Same.
dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
same
for
thing.
every
Yep.
damn dog in the world. The sardines, the fish oil,
I think
mackerel.
that's just something that comes down from the beginning of time.
Yeah, from
I
them
remember.
having the yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will also say dogs with a black coat, if you're using a lot of fish oil, it helps the coat sheen out and make it look good.
Will sheen. It will. It
Yeah,
will.
I use both. I grab sardines when I'm, when I remember to at the
Yeah.
store, and I also have like, the fish oil that you just
So
like
I
two.
know this sounds crazy, right? But yo, um, once in a while I go and I'll be like somewhere and I'll see they have like the whitings, the fillets that are frozen.
Mhm.
So you just take those, peel them open, and chuck them out there, and it's frozen, so it's like a bone, you know what I mean? But as it thaws down, they're sitting there and they're gnawing on it and stuff like that. They get so much more nutrition and stuff, and you can get the salmon fillets too, and you can just catch like BJ's and shit when they're almost out there. You know how they got them sales.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah, I buy food stamp cards all the time just for that shit. I don't be bullshit. Shit, these dogs be costing some money to be feeding. I gotta use every shortcut I can.
You got to.
Especially with that raw. It's one thing if you're just going to buy
Hell
some
yeah.
fucking regular,
Dog kibble, you gonna buy a 50-pound bag of dog food for $50, $60. You wanna buy that bullshit. But man, she ain't gonna have your dog gonna be out of shape and
Yeah.
looking like shit trying to run through the woods. You gotta keep him in shape. Now I'm not saying you got, keep him on both the couch and shit like that. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. You're gonna be unhappy with that dog. That dog
Yeah.
gonna make you unhappy, lazy.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah,
sardines, the fish oil, that's all good for all, not just
yeah, absolutely.
not just pit
Just
bulls,
in general.
is
Yeah, as a scope.
dogs in general. A lot of animals in general, period.
Yeah, you can get the
Yeah.
sardines in water. Don't get the sardines in oil or in butter or any of those things. Get the tins that says in water. That's it.
In
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
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 Or just
Yeah.
get the frozen, like this place is this place is where you could get the actual like sardines, or they like mackerel.
I know a lot of people say, I know a lot of my boys say, why don't you give them tuna fish? Tuna fish. I'm not saying it's not bad for them. I'm not saying it's bad for them, but I'm not saying it's good for them neither. Shit, you ain't even supposed to eat that much tuna with all that mercury.
I was about to say tuna got too much mercury. I think
Too much mercury.
salmon too. Salmon, you gotta watch out for
It's
too.
had much salmon too, yeah.
Got a lot of mercury. That's why the sardines and mackerel is good for the dogs, because they don't have a lot of mercury.
Mercury, yes, sir. Yep. Yep. Well,
But
man,
it was this episode 10, Bark 10. Got Tim in here again. Marshall, New England Patterdale Terrier Club. We're linked up. We work closely with the PTCA.
I don't know why the thing keep denying. I don't know. Somebody keep sending me a friend or some type of request to be in the group, and I'm gonna say deny my request. It denies me. It just say you've been denied. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know.
know
We'll
why it's
figure,
doing that.
yeah, we'll figure it out. You already know. We'll figure that
Yeah,
out. See
yeah,
what's going on
absolutely.
with that.
Hey, Marshall, you got to send me your address. I got a couple of these leashes built for y'all. You can when you see Woods, you can give him, one or two of them.
All right, cool. Yep, that sounds good. Appreciate that. Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
definitely get with me, Marshall. Like, on PM, just send me the address. I can send them to, and I'll get them in the box in the mail.
Yeah, man. And
I
then,
got
like I
them
said,
built last week.
when you're back in Maryland, if you want to make a trip up here, we got plenty of spots we can show you. It'll be fun.
All right, absolutely. Shit, I'm always down to travel. You know that. I just got to put it together.
Yeah.
Shit,
Marshall,
being
you
way
want to
out
say
here, I
anything?
can.
What you say? My fault. What you say?
Being way out here, man, it's hard. It's like, yo, I gotta like schedule everything.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Good. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you
Yeah.
more, for real.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through again. And I know this is one of the ones where everyone learned a lot that, you know what I mean, when it comes to the medication, when it comes to the trackers, the locators, all that type stuff. That's stuff where you need someone with like a lot of experience like yourself to, dig into that. And that's what you did for us tonight. So
I appreciate
I
that, man.
appreciate it. I'm pretty sure everyone in the Patterdale world that's gonna see this is gonna appreciate it, and keep the hunting aspect alive. Marshall, you want to say anything before we get up out of here?
I appreciate everyone hopping on here, and let's just keep on asking great questions, and we're on to the next episode next week. See y'all.
See y'all later. Have a good night.
Have a
God
good night.
bless. Yes, sir.